If you rockin' with it, put your hands up. This the anthem. If you get up and get it, put your hands up.
Welcome back to another video. So in this week's video, I am doing a recap of week 5 of my training block. This is block number 2 of the off season, and my training blocks are 5 weeks at a time. So this has been my heaviest week of training, and honestly, training wise, this week could not have been better. Personal life wise, this week probably couldn't have been any worse, but I'm really thankful that my numbers and things in training still showed up. Like, I still showed up, I did the work in my sessions, and it paid off. Like, I really needed that win this week, and it was definitely a win in terms of my training numbers. Like, in one of the worst weeks I've had in terms of life, it has been a phenomenal week in the gym, and I'm so thankful for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just talk through kind of the achievements of the week and how the sessions have gone. I'm not going to do a full recap of each session. I just want to talk about the top sets and the main lifts and how they have gone. So with that, we will start off with Wednesday's secondary squat day, secondary bench day, and then primary deadlift day. So secondary squats from Wednesday, my top set of 6 was planned at 150, and I was really nervous going into this top set. I'm going to play it now so you can see how that went. But I was really nervous going in. I mentioned in previous videos, when it comes to rep work above the 140, 150 range, I am terrified of anything above roughly 3 reps. So the fact that I had 150 for a set of 6 was a little bit nerve-wracking, but I knew realistically I could do it. And I did. As you can see, it actually went incredibly well. Like, I'm really happy with that. After that, I just had 3 sets of 7 with 130, which were absolutely fine.
With a buck, now I tell a label match it. Yeah, I've been my own boss. I took that leap of faith, yeah, I really dove off. Nothing I need to say, I let the work show off. For my kids, I go hard, gotta go hard. This the anthem. If you rockin' with it, put your hands up. Yeah, this the anthem. If you get up.
Then moving on to bench, I just had a 3 count single at 107.5. So with bench, one thing that did actually arrive during my session were water shoes. So I'm no longer wearing my Vivos for bench, thank God, because they were just slipping more and more every single session. So I've got water shoes, or wet shoes I think they're called. They were £25 on Amazon, and they are the best thing I bought for training. Honestly, as soon as I put them on and started benching them, things just felt incredible. And then the highlight of that session was actually, or the highlight of bench for that session was actually my 4x6 at 100. So I'm going to play that now. 4x6 at 100 was one of the main goals I set for myself when this block started. So the fact that I hit it, and Wednesday was an awful day for me outside of the gym. I did not want to train. The fact that I managed to hit this goal and tick off this massive milestone in my eyes, I was so happy. So bench was phenomenal that day. So was squats, to be honest. And then moving on to deadlifts. So as you'll have seen in previous weeks, on a Wednesday, I tend to do 3 sets of 1 with 1 minute rest in between. And I'll be honest, I had the goal in the back of my head when I wrote this block out. If my back stays healthy and things go well, I would like to be able to load 190. Now, this day was terrible for me, and my last warm up at 175 did move incredibly well. But I was kind of feeling a lot of emotions, and I kind of knew this was going to happen if I loaded 190, but I wanted to load it anyway. Like, I needed that win that day. So I loaded the 190, and then because it was a 5 kilo PB for me on deadlift, I did just break down after. So I didn't do my final 2 singles, but I'm completely fine with that. It was a massive PB, and I needed that win that day. So I was so relieved to have got that. So I ended that Wednesday session incredibly happy. I still did my RDLs after, and just some core work as well. So I didn't skip anything apart from those 2 extra singles on deadlift. But at the end of the block, I'm happy with that. I still left with a PB, and it was a PB that I genuinely just felt like I really needed that day. So that sums up Wednesday's session.
If it's love, I got it tatted. Father, I'm not absent.
So then going into Saturday's session, I mean, I was feeling a little bit better kind of outside of training at this point. Still not amazing, like it was just generally quite a low week for me. But I knew that this session, well, I expected this session to be incredibly difficult. But in a way, when I found in the past, like when I'm going through stuff outside of the gym and I kind of just need that distraction, heavy sessions are probably the best thing for me. So actually, this week 5 of training kind of turned up at the right time because I needed some kind of win. And this Saturday session was definitely a win. So planned top set of 4 on squats was 160. My best ever rep work at 160. I've hit it for a triple twice in the past, and they were RP 9 to 10. I honestly expected this top set of 4 to be an RPE 9, maybe slightly higher, like close to a 10. I expected it to be a lot of work, but I went in prepared to do the work. And I'll play it for you now, and you can see for yourselves. It really wasn't a lot of work. I would say it was an RPE 7 at best. Like, it was so comfortable. You can see me laughing in between the reps because it was just so much easier than I expected it to be.
This the anthem. If you rockin' with it, put your hands up. Yeah, this the anthem. If you get up and get it, put your hands up.
And I knew the second that I'd finished that set that I was going to load for my fatigued single 175, which is a 2.5 time PB on squats. I've never loaded more than 172 before. I've never done more than 172 before. So I loaded 175, and I have never felt so confident going into a PB in my life. And it moved so well. Like, I started giggling halfway up. Even that, I would say, was probably about an RPE 7. Like, I could have repped it if it wasn't for the fact that in the back of my mind, it was like a terrifying, like, singles weight. So the fact that I've watched that 175 back as well so many times, like, I can rep 175 if I have that on the program, and it's not going to be many blocks probably before I am. So I hit an all-time PB on squats of 175, which is phenomenal. I was so happy, and the fact that it moved so sub-max, I'm feeling very good for what I'm going to load next block. I already have a number in mind. You can probably guess what it is, but I'm not going to say it just in case I jinx myself. Then moving on to bench. So my planned top single was originally 112.5 for this week 5 of the block. But bench this block has suddenly shown up. It's felt the best it ever has. And to be honest, I wouldn't have been happy with 112.5. I've hit it before, and I'm stronger than I've ever been before. So I decided to aim for 115. And I'm so glad that I did. I did my last warm-up at 110, which I'll put on the screen now. My warm-ups for this were 70, 100, 110, and then I also loaded 115, which I will also play for you now. And as I unracked the bar, it felt heavy because I'm not accustomed to holding that much weight in front of myself. So of course it felt heavy, but it moved so well. I was so happy that I could have definitely paused it for longer, but I think because it felt so heavy in my hands, I just did not expect it to move that well. And you can see from my face as I got off the bench, I didn't expect it to move that well. So then I had back off 4x4 at 102.5, which I will also play because it also moved incredibly well. Like, bearing in mind, I was nervous and I was prepared to work incredibly hard on squats and bench this day. It was my primary squat and bench day, and nothing was a max. Nothing felt heavy. The only thing I struggled with that day was my ascending sets on sumo, because I definitely went too heavy on the Saturday the week prior, on week 4. So I ended up calling my ascending sets at 155. I wanted to do 160 for a triple, but I knew that it was just going to be too much fatigue build-up, and my body just probably wouldn't have coped with it very well. And there was no point. Like, I'm not doing sumo to push it or to become someone that lifts sumo. I'm doing sumo to just add an extra deadlift volume while I can't push conventional volume. So that is everything from this week that I want to cover, I think. Like, everything is going incredibly well. This end of the block has made me so confident for what's to come. I needed this, and I'm incredibly excited for the next few blocks. Genuinely think the numbers that are planned for next block, which I've kept the same. I'm not going to try and push faster. I'm just going to keep my progress gradual. Like, I want controlled progression through this off season, and that is the plan. That was always the plan. My next big comp isn't going to be until next November. So Nationals has been announced for I think it's the weekend of the 20th of November. It'll be run over 4 days. So I have until then before I have to push on the platform. I don't even know where I'm going to be at that point, but I am determined to be as competitive as I possibly can when I get to that. Like, I've got so much time. I've got over 12 months to get ready for that comp, and I'm going to be ready. So I'm very excited. Like, overall, honestly, life has just been awful this week. So for training to be this good, I needed that win. So I'm incredibly happy with how that has all gone this block. Like, the entire block has been really good, and mentally I feel like I'm the strongest I've ever been when it comes to loading heavy weights. So that is also very exciting. But I'm going to wrap this video up here. I've done a lot of talking in this one. I hope you have enjoyed. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next week for the next one.
For my kids, I go hard, gotta go hard.